Yeah.
Fuck.
There you go, GV.
All right, here we go. There's the clap. We got it.
What's up, guys?
Well, we were talking about earlier our inability as kids, our inability to talk to girls. That was fun.
Yeah. I forgot that we were gonna save that for later.
Oh yeah.
So what do you think make Garrett so good at it?
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I'd like to
Let's
think
try
about
and flesh this out a little bit, because that's a mystery that I never quite cracked. I think I got a little close, but
I've lost that skill with age too, and with being off the market.
sure, everything sort of balances itself
6
out.
years.
But when you're kids, it's the Wild West, and
Right.
you're all figuring different things out at different paces. And
You said it felt like a game.
Oh my God! Do not open it with that, you motherfucker! No.
so, what about it was like a game to you?
Oh my!
Is it like, well, I mean,
Pigeonhole.
we all know what the end zone is, but how do you score a
Let
point?
me tell you,
Yeah.
you call me Justin Tucker because I didn't miss a field goal,
Okay.
or Mickey Mantle.
That can't be true.
So you never,
I always hit
never
home
scored
runs.
a touchdown.
You must have
What?
missed.
Yeah. No. What it was like when I was younger, I didn't believe that girls were ever as horny as I was. It just didn't feel like
Ew,
correct.
girls get horny?
Exactly.
What?
I know. I had the same
Whole life
reaction.
is a lie.
But I don't know. I just had this weird fucking belief because, like, my mom was always kind of weirdly open about it. And not that, like, this is something you should expect, but my sisters were very closed off. Like, Anna didn't really start dating until she was, like, in her mid-20s. And, like, Isabel hasn't
You're going to
really
use
had...
their real names?
My sisters?
All right. I'm just saying.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks for interrupting. That's great. Yeah, anyway, so...
Just checking.
Yeah, my sisters don't really date, and so, like, I don't know, I never really saw it ever,
Sure.
until and then high school came along, and I kind of got laid first in the friend group. I lost my V card first among
Okay, well, so how do you...
all my buddies.
So when a girl shows any interest in that, how do you avoid the panic-stricken sweats, like the freaking out internally?
The cottonmouth.
That just doesn't happen.
Dude,
It never happened.
I almost used to thrive off that when I was younger. I would always
Seems healthy.
I would play best at the concert. Like in marching band and shit. I would have my best performances at the show.
I
Like,
understand performing. Like
I would come up with speeches
That's a
on the
psychology
spot,
thing.
and that would be the same thing. It's the same thing with girls. It's a speech. It's a performance.
It's a game.
yeah.
I still don't understand how you score points in the game. Or are you playing against somebody?
No, it's more like golf. So like the more swings
You're
you
playing
take,
against
the
the
less.
course.
Yeah. There you go.
yourself. Okay. Yeah. I see. The less weight.
Yeah.
It's starting to
You want to
click
take
now.
less swings throughout the game.
Thank you for clearing that up. Okay, so
This is fucked. I hate you guys.
okay.
Don't make me look like this.
Yeah, well,
I love ladies.
we didn't
They're
make you
very
look anyway,
respectful.
buddy. You made you look that way. Embrace.
I'm sorry. What'd you ask me? Shit.
I don't even remember. Sorry.
Before the
well,
game.
just how do
thing.
you avoid
yeah.
feeling terrible?
I don't know. It was almost just like when the time came, I always happened to say the right things and like do the right things.
Well, that's lame.
Rabbit's foot.
So you
Yeah,
were just,
right.
you were just. I mean, you were just born with the touch.
Part of it was I did have like a extra sense of sensitivity because of the whole 3 girls out of 5 people in the house, and
I had 3 women or I had 2 women in my or 3 women in my house.
yeah, but you're a
Growing up.
sociopath, so
I'm not.
how does it feel?
Well, I'm not. In fact, I was very comfortable with like periods and stuff, like talking about girl stuff. I always, like from a young age, was never shied away from that. In fact, I got in trouble for it at school because one day I was listening to this girl talk about her period with all her girlfriends, and I went in, I was like, so, and I asked her like a question. It was like a normal question about it, and she got like freaked out and was like super embarrassed that that I'm a boy and that I would say that. And I'd be like, well, I was just asking about what it's like to have a period. Like, what's the big deal? Like, and my teacher's like, you can't say that in here. I was like, why? I was like, why can't we ask? I thought I was trying to learn. Like, I
figured out the taboos.
I talked my way out of it. Like, the teacher started very upset. And then as I explained to her that I was just like genuinely, I was just asking. I don't know the answer. And she was like, she accused me of knowing. She was like, you know the answer. And I was like, I don't know. No one ever told me this. I was curious. I never talked to anyone about it. So like from it, like I understand getting like being open to that because you had sisters, but like when there was a girl you like and they show any interest in you at all, like for me, it was like frog in the throat, like like horrible, like gut wrenching nausea.
Well,
like very very like terrified stomach.
I didn't get along with boys very well when I was at that age where like you start getting really interested in girls.
Yeah.
I didn't get along with boys very well. I mean, I had my close homies and shit, but when it came to like being around groups of boys, like I wasn't the guy picked first for basketball or like kickball or anything.
Me too. That was very much so far exactly the same.
So I
for
had
me.
Everything's the same except for the girls thing.
Okay, yeah. So we're getting to here. We're getting to the point where now we'll figure out the difference.
Yeah, so I don't know. I related with girls better, and then this might have some part to play too. Like when I started dating my first like real girlfriend that lasted for a while, it's like her and her friends were very open about all that stuff with me. And the sexual relations in that relationship moved quick because you're 15. Takes all of like couple weeks before stuff starts getting yeah. Stuff when it's like a real relationship.
But again, we're already at this point. You're skipping past the. Do you understand? At this point,
sure.
We're already past the point where we couldn't get to there. So it's like I had this one relationship work out. Well, how did that relationship start? What happened? Like, where did you get it from?
Oh, that was just straight up luck. I mean, I met her in marching band. I don't remember. It wasn't anything like fireworks or magic. It was just like we happened to be in the same section in marching band, and then just kept talking over and over and over again, and then and what you do as kids, you like.
And were you an early bloomer with that stuff? Like,
what
would you say? Like around 9, 10?
No, I was probably average. It was like whatever,
like 12,
6th,
13.
7th grade, 10, 11, 10, 11, 12, something like that. I don't exactly remember.
Were you early, Jack?
I was extremely early. I was like
I
the
was
earliest.
too.
Really?
We're getting some parallels here.
No one. Yeah, I 9. I was already in puberty, like hair and everything.
I thought I was a fucking monster.
Yeah, me
until
too.
I was like 12, and I met this other kid. Finally, somebody was willing to talk about it too, and I was like,
yeah, I know. I remember having. That
I'm
moment.
normal.
Yeah.
or we're just both really fucked up.
Right,
I don't really know.
I had nobody. Everyone in my grade were late bloomers, like late, unusually late. And so by 6th grade, no one had even started to like girls or even think about that.
Dude, most of the kids
6th grade. I mean, that's like 11, right? Like 10,
something
10,
like
11. Like that's wild.
You know, now that I'm thinking more, God, I'm so glad we're actually talking about this because it's been a point of what do you call it? God damn, that fucking sun is, and it's fucking up the.
How bad
I was
does it
thinking
look?
about this before we got started too. I was like, oh damn, it's like 3 o'clock. Is the sun gonna fucking cock block me? Yeah,
You can
right.
scoot
Wait,
forward.
no.
Yeah, I can try to.
Is
scoot
this
forward.
thought going to take a sec?
No.
Well, I'm going to grab a blanket anyway, and we can throw it up on
Yeah,
there.
keep it loose. It's all
Oh
good.
yeah, that thought it. Sorry, the sex thing. Yeah, go ahead.
I got it in my mind.
All right, I can hear you from over here.
Yeah, just keep
Okay.
going.
I have always been a flirt. I have for as long as I can remember, I have been a flirt.
Wow.
Like
See, that's remarkable.
when I was in 2nd grade, I remember coming up to my mom and being like, "Mom, this girl's hitting me. Why is she so mean?" And she was like, "No. When girls hit you,
Yeah.
that means they like you." And then later that year, we went to a buddy's birthday. We were both friends with the buddies, like 2nd grade. When we're like fucking 8 years old, we go play laser tag. And on the way back,
Just an aside, my mom always said that means girls care.
that's probably
Right?
more accurate.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's probably
'Cause
more
they
accurate.
care about you.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
wouldn't get. Sorry. So keep going. So.
So, yeah, we're driving back from laser tag, and we end up like sitting in the back of the car playing footsies for like the whole ride home. And that's when I was like,
Dude,
like
already you're years ahead of. You're years ahead. Like that
but
is
it wasn't
crazy.
like I wasn't after anything. I was fucking 8. Like I just thought, oh, this is fun. I'm gonna try to smash her feet. But we're so young that like we're the same strength.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And so we're just kind of. I was like, yeah. But then it kind of clicked that like, oh, my mom was right. What's up?
You just drape it over this?
Over the white. Yeah.
Just do it halfway down. Like just pull it till it's halfway through.
It's really working though.
It is working.
Nice.
There we go, babe.
But yeah, that's something.
That is crazy.
So-
Okay,
yeah.
so like already, okay, I'm seeing a difference here because, like, my childhood was absolutely so. Okay, it was like for all of preschool and kindergarten, it was just me and my cousin, and that was like my whole world. My cousin taught me everything. My younger cousin, actually. He taught me curse words. He taught me like
Nice.
he was the first one to know. He was the smartest kid I knew. Like, Sam. Shout out Sam. Love you, Sam. And he taught me all about language and how adults were, and tried to teach me what sex was. But obviously, he was like, adults are naked together. They kiss.
They pee in each other's buttholes.
Oh my god.
Ew.
But it was, it was stuff
Really?
like that. It was like myths like that. But like, he was the first one to like open my eyes to the world that was outside. Before that, it was like I awoke very early. It was strange. Like I was conscious, like I was looking at birds and humming melodies at like 1, 2. And because I was so like I had so much going on in my head, I was like really stuck in my own world. And already they were saying I had developmental problems, like by like 4 or 5.
My mom thought I was a little bit.
Come on, we gotta bleep that out.
No, it's true.
What?
Okay, all right. Yeah, I guess it is the literal.
I wasn't
use of the
joking.
word. Yeah, no, yeah, it's the literal sense of the word. All right, well, I guess we're bad.
Dude,
for,
oh my
for
God.
laughing at that.
No, you're bad.
No, you're bad for thinking it's bad.
Yeah.
I did. Okay, last time we had to bleep that word out. All right, jeez.
Well, because of the Jack.
Yeah, it was
All right,
the
all right,
context.
context, all
It was
right, all right.
context, my guy.
Why are you such a
We're
racist, dude?
Now I gotta bleep this out because we gotta talk about bleeping out, bleeping you out.
No, I don't
So-
think so. I think it's okay.
Dude,
You meant the word literally. They literally thought you were mentally retarded.
Yes.
That's the
So,
word. Yes.
literally.
That's okay. That's okay.
My mom did for
You can
like
say that.
a couple days.
Dude,
Yes,
think
or
about
something.
the.
Me
the-
too. My teacher said that I might have autism. They thought I had autism.
That's probably the better
You
word.
thought you had autism.
No. It was my teachers that brought it to my parents' attention first.
When you were like 16 and
When-
you were like,
no,
boys,
when I
I,
was-
think I have autism.
Okay, all right. I go back and forth on it because I can't believe I don't.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I relate to autism. Like when I talk to an autistic person, I relate to their thoughts and the way that their thoughts happen. But it's because I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum, and somehow that adds up to me relating to them more. It's like I'm heavily in, like my emotions are heavily involved with everything, including the logic and reasoning part. Whereas they're completely like kind of separated from, those parts are separated with autistic people, like the emotions versus the logic, and they'll kind of, and obviously not everybody, it's on a spectrum, but some people that I've talked to that I know are like that, where they have a disconnect between their emotions and what they're saying, But the mine are so connected that I guess I'm like I take note of their lack of connection, and it like stands out to me, and I can understand what that's like because I've wished I was like that because I have too much emotion going on, with my thoughts. And but it's like I was very like it was very much my own little world. It was not social. Like I get along with girls better, but it was all very like still kind of like keeping away from everybody and avoiding actual close contact, because I got in trouble a lot for like touching people when I was like 3.
Ew.
When I was like 3, 4.
You were that kid.
Yeah. I'd be like,
I remember
rub
being
people's hair and stuff.
Just remember being in a sandbox somewhere, like, why does this kid keep touching me?
That was me.
God,
Yeah, that was
fuck,
me.
It smells like shit too.
That was me.
Were you stinky? Were you stinky?
No,
boy?
that didn't start till puberty.
I'm not saying Jack was stinky.
But I know. I just had, you just inspired.
In this memory, I think.
in that memory. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
But that's funny because I didn't. It started off. I didn't talk at all until I learned to talk, and then I talked all the time. So like from the whole time when I was a baby, my parents were worried because I was just like, like watching them back and forth, like switching my eyes back and forth, but I wouldn't like make a sound or try to interact with them, and that probably did something to me where it made me more stunted with communication because I ended up with a communication disorder or whatever. I didn't know that at the time, but now I know. Like, why is everything I'm saying? The people are taking it completely the opposite direction of what I mean when I say it. Like even when I'm trying to spell out logical truths, or like when I was trying to spell out logical truths that I knew in my head made sense, I would try to say it in class, and then they'd be like, "What are you talking about? Like, doesn't make any sense at all." And I didn't realize that my words were coming out completely different from how my brain was processing what I was thinking.
And all that prevented you from
And
talking to girls?
probably stunted me a little bit. Yeah, because
But like you didn't have that. Was it that bad to talk to boys too? Like the whole frog in the throat.
well,
and
the boys thing. I grew up in a very homophobic area. Like it was very homophobic culture.
Really?
Everyone I knew was
Your
extremely.
parents? Shit.
No. Everyone
yeah,
but my
okay.
parents. Everyone but my parents. My
Gotcha,
family was
gotcha.
very liberal, and they stood out amongst everyone else I knew. But constantly during the day, sports, whatever I'm doing throughout the day, surrounded just by super, like, really aggressively, horrifically homophobic constantly the slurs and constantly it's just awful. And I just got normalized to it, and I, until I like actually thought about it, like when I was 10 or 11, old enough to understand. I was like, why are people doing this? This is horrible. You know what I mean? But yeah, so it was like I couldn't really talk to boys because it was like they were growing up in, I guess, with parents that were just horrific, and I just happened to be at the school where all the parents to be racist and homophobic, and
you're just around it all.
And my parents were like, we want to send him to a good school, and it just turns out that the local Catholic school is horrifically bad. I'm not afraid to say that on a podcast. I mean, the only reason I'm not Catholic is because I went to a Catholic school. It was very bullying was normalized completely. Teachers wouldn't help you at all. It was like, yeah, that's what happens. You just gotta stand up for yourself, or
Hold that thought. I want to circle back to the girl stuff before we start taking down the church.
Yeah. We'll take them down.
Where were we? Okay, I feel like we were getting somewhere, and then I just got lost. In
I had mentioned that
conversation.
It's a gift from birth. My ability
to not be fazed by the idea of talking to a girl.
I've just been a flirt my whole life. And I wonder, Jack related to his developmental communication problems and how that related to him.
Do you think it was empathy or apathy? Truly.
It felt like empathy. I can't tell you without a shadow of a doubt.
I think after knowing you, it's empathy because...
Thank you.
But I think that the apathy thing, it comes across sometimes as apathy. But you go on. I don't know what you were going to say.
Go on.
I mean, so, like, you accept the empathetic mindset of the world, like the view of the world, where you're very aware of that everybody has different needs and stuff, but you also are like interactive with that, and you like to play around with it, and you like to push boundaries and things conversationally. You like to just cross over a boundary, see what happens. Which I did that with some things, but not my emotions and like being vulnerable with a girl, or like being like I like you or something. Like saying that was like a particular barrier, but for you, that was the area you could push your empathy and like I'm going to say this to them, and then I'm going to watch how they react and learn about their emotions and learn about how they're reacting, and then that's going to inform my future decisions on what I say and how I do that,
I think that checks out.
Yeah, like
thinking back, I do think it was empathy also.
Yeah.
That was a very nice summary, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. In a way, yeah. Oh, I know. I definitely have a big thing with pushing boundaries. I do that with Julia all the time. I constantly say things that I know she's gonna not genuinely get mad at, but like be like Garrett or whatever.
Yeah, that's involuntary for me, and I'll just say things that push boundaries because I think asymmetrically and I think very unusually outside of the box all the time. Like that's just how I think. Wow. I think I take it face value, and so like something that seems like a normal question or a thing to say. To me, again, it goes back to the communication problem. I think it's normal, and I'm just passionate, and I'm in the conversation, and I do it, and then it changes, and I'm like, oh, that crossed the line. But now I'm better at it. I've gotten better. That's the thing is I'm smart enough to learn slowly what is the line, and I don't want to cross it. I'm not trying to. That's the difference. It's like I'm not trying to cross that. I don't want to cross any boundaries. But I do want to test it, and I do want to. And I want to test everything, and figure it out. And just through the process of inquiry, you're going to come across things that people don't want you to know about, or people don't want you to say, or whatever, But you're saying it's like kind of with you, it's like, oh, let's see what happens here.
I mean, to an extent, like to the people I'm close with, yes, I have that mentality.
Me too. It's the same with me,
to a stranger, I'm far less.
No, yeah. Well, strangers aren't. I'm not counting strangers. I'm saying, like,
sure.
In an environment where
even people like a girl you're meeting, or like you've been on a couple dates, or whatever. I haven't dated since I became an adult, but like
me neither. Yeah.
But like, if you're like going to the park or whatever, like those, the childhood dates and shit. It's not like I'm trying to like push every boundary or something, but
no. But I mean, I know you. Like it can't. There has to be some intention in some of the things that you're saying, in some of the boundaries you're pushing.
I'm not as mastermindful as you.
No.
think.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying in the moment it happens, you go, oh, and then there's something that does cross your brain where you kind of expect a reaction, but you say it anyway, and it happens. Right?
Sure, yeah.
It does go through a filter where there in the back of your mind is like, And you've held it back. I've known you so long. I've seen you almost say something and then not say it. And you've pointed it out sometimes. And so like I know that there's that thing, but that's what I love about you. I think you should keep doing that.
No, thanks.
That is something that I love. I genuinely love about you, and I always did from the first day. That whole fight that we had the first day. I'm not angry,
Yeah.
That was the first day.
No, it wasn't.
No, okay, I was gonna say that.
It was a little
early.
while down the line. Yeah.
Okay, it was within like 7 practices of our first practice.
Yeah,
was, like,
that seems accurate.
It was really
yeah.
early. It was before we had. No, we had. Did we have Hunter?
I think so.
I don't remember.
I don't know.
It was
Anyway.
early. It was
Yeah,
early.
It was early.
Yeah.
That whole thing was me appreciating your. I'm gonna just stand up against this, I'm gonna unabashedly be like, screw you, I don't like that. And then that was me accepting it and going, let's all just laugh about it because it's, you know what I mean? Like it was kind of like defusing the situation because I love that. Like I cherish that, and I think it's extremely valuable in a person that you're willing to push, any boundary, or, the boundaries that you think matter, rather. Right, that are worth sticking your neck out there, because that's how you get, new ideas and new things, So like, definitely don't stop, even though it annoys the shit out of me sometimes.
I try to not.
Clearly, I
try to not. I really at the end of the day, my mom pointed this out a little while ago. It's so funny, like when you grow up. I mean, when I grew up, like the first year away that I was gone, I had a huge identity crisis where I was like, I just kept seeing my parents in everything I did. I was like, oh my God, that's exactly like my dad. Holy shit, that's exactly like my mom.
Yep.
And then one day I come home and my mom tells me, oh shit, I lost my train of thought. What were we talking about? I'm sorry. What did you say?
Pushing boundaries. I try not to.
Yeah. My mom, like, we're like outside hanging out, me and my whole family, and like everyone moved away except my little sister. So like, we don't all see each other all the time anymore, obviously. And so we're all back together, we're hanging out, and like something of a fight kind of breaks out. Me and my family don't really fight at all, but like something of a fight sort of breaks out. I don't remember what we were talking about. But I sort of try to diffuse it all. And my mom, like, points it out. And she's like, oh, yeah, you've kind of always been, you just want everyone to get along, blah, blah, blah.
Everyone that crosses a boundary immediately regrets it. That's the thing is you immediately regret it, but you have the tendency to follow it sometimes or not follow it, right?
Yeah, medium, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Anyway, I took that to heart, and I started thinking about it. And the more and more I thought about it, I was like, holy shit, I really am like that. Like, I really don't enjoy conflict. Mm-hmm. It's something actually I recognized from you because I really used to hate it.
Yeah.
But the problem was I would face it with like anger or emotion or sadness. You know what I mean? Like I would get really upset about it. But like hanging out with you and being around you so often like taught me to not act like that. Like I need to be able to control this or at least act upon it in a constructive way than get angry at you or get sad with you or you know what I mean or get anxious or all that shit.
Well, and that was a lesson I really had to learn over a long period of time, and I really did learn it like with intention of learning the value from disagreement that you can gain from disagreement. And then learning the value of piecing it back together so that you all can come to some sort of conclusion at the end. Because those moments, and with BB, I feel like maybe your parents taught you that. I feel like your parents taught you how to stay calm somehow. Like I get that from them. Like maybe your dad.
I feel like it's kind of genetic.
Like helped you in situations that might be stressful,
Yeah.
because you deal with the problems the way I learned how to deal with them with my parents. Because my parents, it was always argument, very intense argument between my parents, between me and my parents, between all the kids and the parents. Like it was just all day was navigating arguments because they're lawyers. I guess I don't know. They just they tend to argue with logic, and we couldn't fight it. We couldn't fight it early. They would just destroy us with logic.
Well, you're 6 and they're 35.
Right,
so.
right.
And attorneys.
So that drove me insane. Like I couldn't stand the fact that I couldn't talk to them as clearly as they could communicate something with me and convince them of something. And so I focused on that like super hard growing up was how do I win an argument with mom and dad? If I can figure out how to win an argument
Oh,
with
boy.
seriously, it was like a big
It's a big mountain, my boy.
and all along the way, along that journey, I learned how to argue with anybody and all sorts of people that I didn't even think I would be arguing with, or and I realized along the way that every argument is actually helping me understand the world better. Like every time I had an argument and successfully resolved it, it was massively changing and improving my quality of life. And that was like a pattern I noticed. It was like, that's really strange. And so I latched onto that idea of, I'm going to argue everything even if it's wrong. I don't care if my viewpoints are wrong. I'm going to argue it as though I think it's right. And just and then through having the argument, I'm going to form the opinion. So it's like backwards. Like most people have the opinion and then they argue about it and then they go back and they don't change what they, thought because they just want to keep on believing. But it's like, I start with, I know I'm probably wrong about this, but I don't care. I'm just going to take it as truth and then go from there, And it's like, it's weird.
It's a form of communication. I feel like a lot of people just don't know how to communicate properly. And it takes them a long time to figure out how to do it.
Yeah, and the big lesson I learned was in an argument situation, staying calm is the most powerful thing you can do.
Oh, hell yeah.
Staying calm. Don't worry about how much you disagree with the other person. Worry about, here's my point of view. I'm going to spell it out for you. And then when you do that and the person's reasonable you're talking to, they're going to be able to see that. They're going to mimic that. And you're going to have a much better time,
A lot of people don't understand that it's okay to disagree, too.
Exactly.
Right.
That was
God,
It's not worth
such a
getting
big-
upset about in the first place, really.
I really, that, and I think I eventually developed that belief, and I think part of it was from hanging out with you. Like a good chunk of the reason how I got there was because we're always arguing, and you're always like, blah, 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 this is my point. Well, show me the evidence. Or you're very quick to point out logical fallacy and all that shit. But
my favorite thing is to walk somebody I disagree with into agreeing with me without them knowing, and then it completely resolves the situation because then you go, well, then you agree with me.
That's the master class.
But anyway, so the point I was trying to
And you
make
were good
is,
practice for that.
it's so important not to not. It's a weird line, right? It's like you shouldn't believe that your opinions are like the top of the mountain and there is nowhere else to go. But you also shouldn't believe that like everything is wrong. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, fuck.
You should.
I
No, that's an important struggle because the truth is so much smaller than not truth. Not truth
Right.
is so big that it's easy to go, well, that must be everything. Nothing's really true.
Hold on.
But actually, there are a few things that I've collected through my life that I'm like, that's remained true, and I keep testing them. Like that's true, maybe like 2 or 3.
yeah.
But they're out there.
What,
They
like
are
objective truths
I
in the
believe that they exist, but they're not what you think they are. Like what the average person would think, or even what you would think, knowing them. You know what I mean? Like they don't necessarily manifest themselves in the way that you think they're going to manifest themselves. So you have to be very careful about asserting them and believing them. But I believe that they're out there. I think that there are true things in the world, but you have to be very calm and collected and level-headed in order to find them and sift through all the bullshit.
Right. Yeah, sorry. The point I meant to make was in the spirit of being level-headed, like in an argument, it's not necessarily right that your opinion is on the top of the hill, but it really it helps so much to at least like to be able to recognize whether or not the person is just like off their rocker or
Yeah.
not. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
Like, and so in that
Have
sense,
enough
you, like,
arguments and
you
you'll
stay
learn.
level-headed and you listen to what they have to say. But like at a certain point, you're like, okay, this is going nowhere, and this person has absolutely no fucking idea what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And there's no point in getting
Find a way out at
upset.
that point.
Well, so that
Yeah, right. But
politely,
that,
like, I'm
sorry,
done.
Yeah.
that is what I was trying to say. Like you helped instill in me was this belief that like, okay, to an extent, I know what is true, and I know like what is probably the right belief.
Yeah.
And it's good to be able to recognize like the different degrees at which people can argue that with you, and
Yeah.
to what extent that they can't. You
Yeah.
know, it's a very powerful tool. I'm gonna get a beer. I'll be right back.
Oh, yeah, actually, I gotta pee. Well, I'll wait, because that would just be weird if you were here alone, Jack. You can't Bill Burr this. I guess, maybe you could.
You put me under pressure, maybe, but hold it.
Yeah.
There you go. Get out of here, fool.
All right. Wait, there's something. I had a point.
Damn.
Slipped away like a fart.
So is my is are we done with the girl thing? Are you satisfied? Do you feel like you have a clearer understanding of that?
Yeah.
Clear. I'd like to circle back before we're finished, though.
It's fine.
Here's my conclusion that I drew was that you're essentially
Gifted. Thank you.
no. I just think it can be chalked up as to be as simple as everyone has different blocks. Like everyone has different things that they feel like are insurmountable obstacles.
That's yeah.
And it can be chalked up to just you had other things you were worrying about, and so you didn't have the mind to focus on that particular hang up.
Right. Right.
Or you didn't know otherwise that there was a problem with that. Maybe you never experienced rejection up until the point where you asked a girl out, you know?
No, I received rejection from my peers really early,
Mm-hmm. But like,
which sucked
yeah.
a lot.
Yeah,
That
no, yeah.
sucked a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I got ditched a lot.
Me too.
But I also don't want to overplay it. I don't want to like play this victim story that
Yeah,
I
of
was
course.
like so mistreated when I was younger. It was like there was
90% of the time you're happy-go-lucky, and you're like,
it was a
I'm
little
young.
less than that, truthfully.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
but here's the reality. The reality was there was a couple neighborhood bullies that like that were older than all of the people around me and commanded the most respect. So when they were around, people were dicks. When they weren't around, people were awesome. And then they moved away fourth, fifth grade. They moved away. They're actually, it's really funny. It's a hilarious twist of fate because their house got foreclosed. That's why they moved out. It was also like, this was probably like 2008. So, you know, housing market wasn't great.
yeah.
And
I remember going through that as a kid and being like, why is everything so bad? And then later I'm like, oh, wow, that was really bad.
yeah, right. But after that, it all went away. Like after they left, they moved away. Like there was no more problem. Also, we got older. We're like in 6th grade now, so there's a little less of that.
I think that all those little experiences really do matter. I think that those little.
I agree. I think
things,
it's what led me to desire status, like the be a musician, be
I remember
successful.
my
like-
earliest memories with interacting with girls in preschool were. Again, what?
Kind of not really.
I thought we were circling back around, and we're nearly at an hour. I think maybe 10 minutes away.
Shit, we are. Wow. 4.
But
Let's keep going, huh?
Yeah, no, we're good. We're good.
I like this.
But yeah, it's like I think that I remember my earliest interactions with girls were them laughing at me and making fun of the fact that I was not making any sense when I talked, and so like that was most of all interactions I had for a long for the first until 2nd, 3rd grade is when I figured out how to talk to people, and then I would just. But yeah, so it was like. Yeah, I think that probably affected me, like being in preschool and like just seeing a bunch of girls laugh at me and point.
Damn. Yeah.
Uh-oh. Like that was the worst feeling ever, and I think I was so afraid of asking a girl out until I was like 16 because of that like fear in me. And also it's just generally people told me I was weird all the time. People told me, I could never be taken seriously, things like that. And so I think that I just resigned. I was like, well, I'll just be a fucking joker, and be like,
this is life now.
yeah. I just leaned in
no,
and be
buddy.
like, I like video game, I like music, I like video games, I like, being in my own mind and asking questions about the world. So I'm just gonna do that.
God, I was the same way. I liked music and video games, and
Yeah.
not being in my own world, but like what felt like my own world, which was the internet community. I met good friends.
Oh, that's totally different. I didn't have any internet, nothing. But
Oh,
keep
yeah.
going.
Well, that's where I went. Like I said, so I was getting bullied up until 5th
Yeah.
grade, right? People were ditching me. I was like, we would play football games and shit, and they would like two-hand touch everyone else and then tackle me. That kind of, it was like silly shit. We're all young though and malleable. So like, first of all, no one's that heavy. You're fucking anyway. So
Yeah.
So eventually I was like, fuck it. Well, if I know that this kid is out there, then I'm just not going to go out. And then around that time was when my dad and his buddy from work decided to play World of Warcraft.
Your dad got you into it. I
Yeah, my
remember
dad
now.
showed
Yeah,
it to
that's
me.
Right.
And it was
Nice.
funny because he
That's
hates
awesome.
MMORPGs, and I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever found. And it was so cool though because through it I met people my age. I met adults. Like I was hanging out with people in their 30s and 40s when I was like 8, 9, 10 years old. but they were nice to me.
Another similar experience.
They were cool and they were nice. They didn't not like they didn't cast judgment or treat me different,
treat you like an adult.
differently.
Sure.
We didn't
like
talk
a
about
normal
sex,
person.
obviously, because I'm like
Yeah,
young
right,
and stuff.
right.
But like,
9.
but they were nice. They were
I-
they were helpful.
yeah.
They were nice. They like helped me in the game, and then occasionally we talk about life, and then they were
That's
cool in that
interesting.
regard. And
I like the idea of our response to rejection because everyone, I think at least every guy, it might be true for many girls too. It's probably true for many girls. But I think generally, like, my sisters were raised in a very coddled way compared to me. Like, I know that's for sure. Like they were protected from things. And also people treat little girls differently than little guys. They won't say as many things to them. They won't be as honest with them and things. But, like, I don't know, something about being a dude, I think it's because you interact more with things. You're obsessed with things, and you end up getting in trouble more. But, like, you just end up getting rejected a lot more early on, like when you're a guy.
Sure.
And that extends even more into later on when girls have the control over the who goes out with who, and you're trying to ask, and you're getting rejected by 5 girls and getting one of them to go out with you. That kind of thing. And girls don't have as much. Again, many girls do, and they deal with rejection, and I know many girls like that. But generally less so. Like, my sisters never asked anyone out in the first place because that was not the culture of the girls that were around them. You didn't ask guys out. That was a thing. It was like a thing that girls knew about. And whereas guys were like, all we thought about was trying to figure out a way to get a girl to go out with us.
monkey brain.
Yeah. So you just get rejected a lot. But my response to rejection was going to adults, hanging out with adults. I loved being around my dad at parties, and I would just be at his side and just watch. And I just loved watching adults be adults.
That's so
like,
strange.
And like country club, I had a country club, so that was like a big thing for me to go up and talk to the members and just walk around the pool and talk to all the adults and just say, hey, what's up, how you doing?
Wait, sorry. Let me get this mental image out of my head really quick. Little Jack walking around.
It must have been wild.
On the side of the pool.
Yes.
Like just teeny beer belly,
Yes,
like 9-year-old beer belly with your fucking
exactly.
Capri Sun.
Yep.
Your hair's in your face.
100%.
You just walk up to like the MILF and you're like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, absolutely. That was 100% my experience.
You being X is a 9
And
today.
you know what? The shit that I was saying must have been crazy. Like, I think back now, it must have been because they would laugh. Like, I remember getting that response a lot. Which they would just belly laugh whatever I said.
Yeah.
Like, ask some question.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Like, oh my god, you're the best. Like, how old are you? They would always ask me, how old are you? And it was always younger than they thought I was. It was like that kind of thing.
Which made them laugh harder, I'm sure.
Yeah. Like, oh my god, and then it was very quickly, once I learned to read well, it was very quickly burying into books. It was like books. Computer games. I had computer games. I had no video game systems for a long time.
Wow.
Like no consoles or anything until I was like a teenager.
Damn.
So it was like computer games, like educational, like Star Wars games or like
Dude,
things
wow.
like that.
That's why I ran to the internet.
Or you read books, and then that's what my parents taught me. There was like, if you're bored, you just read books. It was a great thing to teach me as a young kid, and I read like hundreds, and I mean probably like 1,000 books by 3rd grade, and then by 3rd grade I was reading the Bible.
That's cap.
1,000? Oh yeah, it was
By 3rd grade.
It was like 1 or 2 a day.
You're out of your
It was
fucking
every
mind.
day for like years.
What are they? 50-page books?
It didn't matter.
10.
I picked up every book. I could find in the library.
That's
Just
so
anything,
cap.
and I just
Okay.
read it. I would read in class instead of study. I didn't study at all. I didn't.
You had to study in 3rd grade?
Well, sit and watch the class instead of being in
I
class and
see what you're
interacting. I would just be reading behind my desk.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it was just obsession with reading, and then I got obsessed with God and like religion, and I got fascinated with it because I already knew Santa Claus wasn't real. Really young, I was the kid that was like, "Hey, Santa Claus isn't real," and everyone, parents were like, "Shut up!" Freak out. Like, there
Okay,
was a
you're a
huge
dick,
freak
though.
out. Yeah, no, I didn't know because I was like, well, I thought everyone was lying to us. I was like, this is outrageous. Like,
I'm busted this wide open for everybody.
handle this
it really was. Yeah.
injustice?
No, I was furious because I was like, why would they lie to us? It's such a big thing.
Did you guys know, like,
Because that means
Look at this.
magic isn't real, right? Because that means magic's not real, and that's like a big deal for me to have that realization. I was like 5 or 6, and I was like, dang. And I remember the conversation with my dad. I was like, wait, Santa Claus is one guy. And he was like, uh-huh. And I was like, and he hits 6 billion homes in one night or whatever, He gives toys to 6 billion children. He's like, well, it's less than that, but yeah, several billion.
It's less
like that. But, yeah. He's like, some people don't believe, and
he doesn't visit India
I was like,
or China.
I was like, that's impossible. And he was like, you got me. But he was basically like, I was like, there's no way that can happen. And he was like, I just don't tell your brother and sister.
You probably caught him like post-coitus 3 brandies deep.
I'm sure. I remember him being totally caught off guard by it, and he was like, oh, he buried his hands.
He's like,
he buried his face in his hands, like I blew it, you know. And so the next day in class, the next day it was like, guys, Santa Claus isn't real. They're lying to you. Like I would literally say that, like furious,
like it's a
angry.
government secret.
And the teachers would put me, no, you know, you cannot do that. And then the next parent teacher conference, everyone was like, don't let him talk to Jack. You know, it was like people would avoid me. Like it was really bad. Like
this Jack kid is fucked. He smells like shit.
Baby in the corner.
He touches my kid a lot. And he's telling her that Santa Claus isn't real.
Oh my God. But so the God thing was really fascinating because it seemed like the same pattern to me. It was like everyone says he exists, but then you get to an age and they say he doesn't exist, but he's magic. Okay, well, this just seems like Santa Claus, but bigger. And so I read the Bible profusely trying to find, prove that it was true. Like I wanted to prove that it was true because I wanted to believe in God. That's great. I would love to go to heaven. You know, it's 3rd grade me. I'm like in religion class reading the Bible, which nobody did. Nobody even read not even the teacher read the Bible. I would quote him. I would sit there and I'd be like, wait a minute, but doesn't that contradict with this verse right here? I'm looking at it right here. I'm reading it. That's not what you just said. So, and he would be like, oh, this is fucking annoying. And so I read it again. I read it twice.
Jack, get out of here.
I read it twice just to make sure that I could call him on anything. And then I very quickly after that realized that it's very, I was like, this seems very doubtful. There's nothing in the Bible that makes any sense.
You were the opposite of a teacher's pet.
Yeah, no,
you were a teacher's bane.
It was a horror. It was a nightmare for them. Every teacher was a nightmare. Math class, are you sure that does that? And they're like,
wait, what's the? You're like the kid in the Polar Express with the blonde hair and the glasses.
You need your ticket punched.
Yeah, it was like, because it didn't make everything that the adults were saying were pretending like the world made sense. The more I learned, the less it made sense. The less I realized the humans know about the world and existence and why we're here and all this stuff. And so it was very strange, that giant dichotomy between what adults say and what they actually live and exist in. Because they don't act as though God's real. None of the Christians I know act Christian in any way. I'm a better Christian than most Christians I know. And it's because, I don't know why, but at some point it just becomes an excuse to, crap on other people. That's what it was. They would try to bully me, like teachers and priests that I would talk to about this. They would try to bully me into belief. Like they'd be like, hell, they would resort to threatening me with hell. You'll go to hell. Do you want to go to hell? 2nd grade. I mean, really? Like that's something you tell a 3rd grade? But yeah, they would resort to that, and it would leave me at this point where I'm like, well, they're just angry. They're upset about the fact that I'm questioning what they're saying, yet they teach me to use my mind that God gave me to understand the world. And every time I try to use my mind to understand the world, it contradicts what they're telling us about, what they think about the world. So,
Dude, and I don't have like a great case to back this up, but I feel like a lot of the teachings of the Bible is actually good advice. It's just the people that spout it and teach it are fucking horrible.
Yeah, they don't even read it. They don't even read it. None of my religion teachers ever read the Bible.
You could take 3 steps backwards.
That
it
seems like cat to me. Like really, they never read
not
the
all
Bible.
the way through. Not
What'd
like
you
I
do
did.
in religion class?
They repeat the same talking points that they hear from other people.
Blessed is the fruit. And
It's the same.
May the Lord
it's
open.
the same apologetics, avoidance. If they actually read what was in the Bible, where God commissions genocide, He says, "Kill all the men and women, and leave the marrying age children, women, girls, and take them."
God sounds like a homie.
But then the priest and I
watch the movies, dude. It's fine.
I read this in high
I
school.
watched the Passion of the
I
Christ.
say, so is this a loving God? And I read the verse where God commissions a genocide, talking directly to people, commissioning a genocide, take the young girls with you, leave them. And I read that out loud in religion class, and just horror over the face of my teacher, like horror, doesn't know how to respond to it. And I said, is that a good God? And
is this Old Testament or New Testament?
Old Testament.
Yeah,
there you go.
Right.
But New Testament is even more horrific. There's nothing.
I thought the old. Well,
No, that's the argument. That's the apologetics as
Fuck,
well.
I know.
The New Testament, the Christian God, the New Testament, the Christ, the Christ God, the New Testament God is so much nicer. But Christ says basically, if you don't follow me, you're gonna burn in hell forever, which is like the most horrific thing you can do ever.
sick.
And Christ says all sorts of horrible stuff. I mean, like I didn't come to bring peace. I came to bring the sword. Like he said things like that. I mean, he
Dude,
was
hell yeah.
obviously a cult leader, like
My
a
boy.
really good one.
I was
JC.
like, life was just so different back then too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you can't just go murder people now.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
unless you're the
can.
Actually, you couldn't
Singaporean
back then. That
police,
was during the golden age of the Roman Empire. It was a very safe place to be. I mean,
Oh yeah, I guess you're right. Damn.
I mean, it was like compared to most society, it was a lovely place to
It's
be.
easier to get away with it. They didn't have forensics.
Not
or
if you were
cameras.
I
Jewish.
wish we had
If you
more
were Jewish, you were,
information. Honestly, I just
Yeah.
wish we had more information about what went on and what life. Maybe there isn't. I just haven't looked it up.
Yeah.
But every time I feel like I dig into this stuff a little bit, the general consensus is we don't exactly know. You
Yeah.
know,
Oh, what's the podcast called? The
hardcore history.
Hardcore History.
Yeah.
Have you listened to that?
Some, not the Roman stuff.
It's
but,
awesome. There's
yeah.
another one. There's another podcast out there that's just about Roman history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's super cool.
It's very likely.
It takes
This
you
is
step
what
by
most
step through
historians.
the entire empire from the beginning
Yep.
to the end.
Do you think he does a good job of like sort of
Great job.
explain? I mean, no, Dan Carlin's a god.
Oh,
but,
Dan Carlin does a great job. This guy is different. I don't know his name.
Oh, okay.
The
But I
Roman,
mean, so between both sources, do they do a pretty good job of like of
YouTube
giving
is
you a
by far-
perspective?
it's the closest mental picture I think you can get
Yeah.
nowadays.
All right, sweet. I'll have
Without
to dig
diving
it
into
then.
like
Yeah.
a ridiculous
Like a straight up
textbook.
textbook.
Just to,
Yeah,
just to spoil it, I slaved over the history of the church and how it started because I was obsessed with like this idea of like, well, Jesus died
Really?
40 A.D., approximately 30 A.D.
Damn, it was that early? Fuck.
No, it wasn't because very likely he lived prior to year zero, and he might have died around. I think it was somewhere like. Well, first of all, we don't know if.
Wait, hold on.
First of all,
Actually,
we don't
wait.
know if Jesus existed at all.
Wait, real quick,
What an
real
idiot.
quick.
I thought he
How-
died at 0. What?
But then what?
Fuck me. Yeah.
No, this is
hold
no.
on, wait.
Listen
before-
to this. It
no.
wasn't like people back in the year one were like, "Oh, it's year one now." Like
Yeah.
it wasn't even created.
Tally mark.
I learned this. It wasn't even created till hundreds of years after the year supposedly year zero. So by then they had no evidence. They had no idea when he died or when he was born.
Sure.
We have
Right,
no
that was
clue.
actually my question. Was
Okay.
how did they
That's right.
establish year
We
zero
don't-
and all that
they
shit?
they just
It was probably
did
a
their best
king
guess.
or-
No, but
or,
like when did that happen?
pope.
It was
Alfred?
like year 2. It was like year 3 something.
Oh, okay.
300 something.
When did they discover writing?
Which
Was it BC or like when did writing and
Writing?
note taking and shit begin?
Ancient Sumerians were the first.
That's right. 5,000
Yeah.
BC.
It was a long time ago.
That's what I said. Okay, yeah. So you laughed at me like fuckers.
Well, that's
No,
pretty
no,
far.
it's-
It's about
I think I
5,000 years
misunderstood you, yeah.
off. About
yeah,
5,000 years.
Yeah, it's nothing. Yeah.
I didn't know. Fuck.
Okay, it's fine. No, it's not.
2023 years past the year 0.
Yeah.
Right.
We're about halfway to 5,000 from the year 0.
Yeah.
So writing had been along for
So
quite a while.
5,000 is a long. That's
Yeah.
a
Then
long
why
time.
Would why would they settle on 0 then?
This is the thing. There was a lot of disagreement when this whole thing came out, and it wasn't even fully established until like 1,000.
Was it the church? Did
The
the
year
church
1000.
really have the part to play?
It was the
that's
early
usually,
church.
Yeah.
It was
usually
the early church, which was a
They had all the money.
bunch of megalomaniac psychos, that basically power hungry maniacs.
I heard they were
That
pretty chill.
by the way, Jesus said, if anyone tries to use my name in a religion, they're false. They're false prophets, and you shouldn't follow them. And what did people do about
but he
100
did
years?
that.
But he said
With
he
Judaism,
said
right?
after I die, it's done. You're saved now. Like that's what he said. He was like,
fuck?
after I die, you're saved. That's the whole thing. He got rid of original sin, but they still have this selling point. Like if you're bad, you'll go to hell. That's the biggest selling point for religion. That's the ultimate. When you break down every argument, it always comes to, well, but you'll go to hell if you. Well, that's a stupid argument. That's a fear argument.
Well, I like
JC was such a hipster.
the Jordan Peterson
And
interpretation of it.
Jesus said, love thy neighbor. Jesus said all these things that if you're saying people should believe things because you're going to go to hell, that's the opposite of what Jesus said. He said, give up what you want, don't do anything for the sake of, following me. He said, do things for the sake of God, which means essentially, just be good to be good. Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he was preaching.
That's
and
what I like the Jordan Peterson interpretation of it all. And I don't. This isn't like a direct quote by
Believe
him,
as
but
though God
but this
exists
is
and
no.
not really.
In terms of hell, like
It's
this
just
is
like
what
make
I
your bed in the
imagine he
morning
means
and-
is basically like hell isn't actual fire and brimstone after you pass away. It's when you're on your deathbed. Oh shit! All these regrets, all these
agree, yeah.
mistakes. I feel so horrible about everything I've done.
Everything that we can
That is
imagine hell
right?
being is on Earth. It exists already on the world.
Well, of course.
Well, if there is hell, it's probably self-induced.
Like, how is it that
Exactly. It's experience that's hell. It's not. It's a spiritual existence. It's not a place. It's not a thing.
Right.
And no one, a lot of the afterlife thing is a recent development. Most cultures never believed in an afterlife. Most cultures,
Yeah, they do.
throughout-
I mean,
no.
the Hindus do.
I know.
Eventually.
No,
Right.
yeah, that was Hindus are later. I'm saying early cultures, the first religions, all that stuff. They were very like
Oh, like Earth-centric. Yeah.
yeah, the
Terrestrial.
Sumerians,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
example.
They were
The
very
Sumerians,
terrestrial.
They had sacrifice, they had human sacrifice rituals, and they were very like in touch with the brutality of existence. And all their rituals were around the fact that like life is extremely brutal and our lives mean nothing, and we're just meat basically. And
The
that's,
Aztecs had similar,
that
but
was
they
the
were the
whole
opposite. They valued life. They heavily they sacrificed for life.
Right, and that's
because,
yeah.
you know, whatever. Yeah.
Chop your head off, kick it down the
right.
pyramid.
Actually,
Brutal.
I went
I'm not
there
saying I'm
and,
not saying no cultures did, like I'm not saying they all got it right early on. I'm just mean like
Yeah, yeah.
It's not like in order to be spiritual you have to believe in an afterlife. I hate how the religion has that like idea like you have to believe in an afterlife. It's silly. Like you nobody knows, and that's it. Period. Nobody knows, and so to say anything else but nobody knows is just silly. It's a silly argument.
People
to
are
have,
just
you know?
afraid of what they don't know.
They are afraid.
dude, I had
It's
a
all right. You know, let
But
them
you
be
shouldn't
afraid.
make. That's what I mean. If you're making decisions out of fear, you got to seriously question why you're believing what you believe. That's what happened to me.
Do a lot of things, but
It was in the shower, and I went, "Wait a minute. If I don't believe hell is real, if I don't believe it makes any sense that it could be real, why would I be afraid of it?" And that was the moment I became an atheist. It was like, "Oh, I can just let it go, and I don't have to be afraid." And now nothing. Now all of these arguments that I was having with these religious people have no ground whatsoever, and they're all meaningless because if you don't have the fear of hell, right, then it all goes away. There's no reason to believe anything without reason. That's what faith is, right? There's no reason to have faith in something unless you're afraid. Take fear out. Why even bother? Just believe whatever it is. Maybe there is a life after death. I don't know.
I'm thinking.
Yeah,
trying
maybe.
to find a scenario.
I really like to believe that there is something, that it's not just black. The reality is it's probably just black.
No,
But I would like to believe that, like,
it's not. If
you know, the
about
DMT
physics,
world you like fucking drift off into
This
some
is what you
crazy
learn in
D&D,
physics, man.
DMT acid
I'm
trip.
gonna jump right into a D&D campaign.
Yeah, dude, that'll kick ass.
this is what you learn
High
about
fantasy.
in
Yeah.
physics is that
You learn about
every process is unique. Every chemical process, every thing has a consciousness. It's not a consciousness, but it's like it's a tendency. Everything has a tendency, And you become matter. You become ordinary matter, what we call ordinary matter on Earth when you die. But that's exciting. Ordinary matter is fucking incredible, and it's really wild, all the chemistry that can happen, And that chemistry is still happening. It's not happening in the form of you knowing things or you being conscious of it.
It's not a
but
very
you still
comforting thought.
are a thing. You are becoming part of the grand clockwork of the universe, I mean, I don't see how you could get better than that, without believing something for no reason,
well, if you don't care about the grand universe clock.
But if you don't care about that, then why are you here? That's what we exist in. That's what
I'm here
gave
for
us
me,
the
baby.
life.
I mean, me.
why
That's
not?
what gave us life. That's where it all comes from. That's
No,
God.
Mama gave me
Let's
life.
party, baby.
That's God. I mean,
Fuck yeah. You want to have another beer? I'm just kidding.
No.
What's
I
remarkable
don't
is
really
that
either.
we popped out of existence after only a few billion years of the universe being around, and that's an incredible thing. And there's not much evidence that it happened anywhere else, because if there were other people like us out there in the universe, then we would see signs of them, and we don't. So it's like that alone, I don't know how you don't feel special after just knowing that by itself. That's a spiritual, religious fact, if there is one, is that we're here, And that's like, what else do you need? You get to live.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
You
I
know?
do
Yeah.
cherish life. Yeah.
I'm too busy
to
to
ask
think about
anything
it, man.
more. Asking anything more is just it feels like you're, it feels like it's not appreciating what it is that we live in, which is a primordial ooze that has now reached the ability to contemplate itself. That's way cooler than anything you can read in the Bible, I promise you. That's the fact that like we know that is crazy.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Did we smoothly transition into this from talking about like dealing with girls as kids?
Probably.
Was there
Yeah.
ever really like a
Yeah, I think so.
It was pretty smooth.
like
I
a
think.
change of course?
Yeah, yeah.
I
We
just-
started
I think
talking
it's
about
kinda cool.
ourselves.
Not really. Yeah, it all kind of comes back to sense of self and that
Yeah,
kind of
okay.
thing. But
Yeah.
No, it was
Alright.
pretty smooth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I
No,
think
don't end
that's-
it yet.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
We're only at 56 minutes.
I gotta ask a ridiculous question, but I don't have one.
Oh, let's do something
I
fun
like
now.
to do like one ridiculous question
Yeah.
every time we sit down with mics.
I'm a little over the.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm out of beer.
Nah, I'm
What do you got?
striking out right now. I'm striking out. No, but stop looking at me.
Everyone's like, "Is the podcast over?" I was like,
Our retention just dropped 50%.
I was trying to think of a good like question.
Nah, if they're
that-
here now, I mean, they're gonna be watching the whole thing. I mean, what? You got 56 minutes in. You got.
when
turn it off?
when does it get counted as a view? Like if somebody just clicks on
I
the
don't know.
video, is it like boom, one view, or is it like 30 seconds, or is it
It's
1 minute?
probably like 15
Or is
seconds.
it percentage based?
I think it's percent. It depends.
There is a number. I don't know what it is. It's very small though.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I just wonder how many people actually make it to the end of our
Oh, we know that
podcast videos.
information.
We do?
That's
Yeah, we
retention.
have it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's audience retention is
What
how long do they
percentage of
last.
people who click on
Overall,
it?
it's like
For
less
the-
than 25%.
The
Less than
podcasts
25.
are very low.
Yeah.
All of them,
25% is a great number,
Yeah, right.
actually.
Yeah.
In,
That's
in
why I said
some
less.
ways.
Yeah,
It-
less
it
than
depends
25.
on how long the video is,
Yeah.
Makes sense.
but no. Yeah, we can pull up some of those stats.
It's weird. The
I
way
can
that
show you
I
some stuff
consume
later.
long form YouTube content is I will just close YouTube and then pop it back up when it's convenient again, and then keep watching, close it. It's all the same video, but if
Right.
it's 4 hours long, it takes me 2-3 days to finish it.
Yeah, it's no when the video stops at any point, that is considered a drop in retention to the YouTube algorithm. So
Got you.
even though it's like still pulled up and shit, and you're going to watch it later, whatever point in the video it stops, for the YouTube algorithm, it's considered.
I almost feel bad for doing that now.
What?
For closing the videos all the time.
So I'll
I can't
pull
sit
up,
there and watch for 4 hours though. Fuck.
Yeah, right. I mean,
Well, not talking about our thing, but like a D&D show. It's
Yeah, I
about
mean,
4 hours.
I watch them,
Let's
but
pull this
usually
up.
I'll just turn them on in the background, and I don't really care if I miss anything, unless it's like a really interesting podcast like Lex Friedman or something.
so
I'll
this
watch.
is our retention for the What I Got video, or the Blitzkrieg bot video rather. By the
Uh-huh.
end, 22% of viewers actually watched
That's
to
not
the
bad.
very end.
That's not bad.
So
That's
wait.
good.
Where's that big
The
downward
big
spike?
dip is at 11 seconds.
11 seconds?
Yeah.
Most people
But that's
click off.
actually
Like,
actually pretty normal.
makes
That
sense.
seems normal.
Yeah,
Okay,
Like
yeah.
most videos people
I said
click
15.
on.
Yeah, I said 15.
Yeah,
And-
okay,
but that's
yeah.
the whole point. That's why you have to make a very engaging intro. This is like Mr. Beast's whole
Yeah.
fucking thing. It's why you have to do these really specific intros, because if you don't capture them in the first 10, 15 seconds, they're out. They
That's
leave.
why I think we should
Our
clip
retention
out.
drops 70%.
that's why I think we should take
30%. Rather.
like the best part of this podcast and just clip it, and put it in the front, and then like 30 seconds, and then we go into the real thing.
we can. I mean that's a business decision we can make. I kind of like. I mean, yeah, if G's willing to do it,
Yeah, I mean if it's longer than
don't mind.
11 seconds, it might help that retention, baby.
perhaps. Yeah. But we don't really do
Hey,
like intros
don't stop watching
anymore.
right now.
We don't really do intros anymore. So
Yeah, well, we could make
You
an
know.
intro.
sure, we can do that.
Splat. Trauma Illinois. I don't know.
I don't think it really matters. Honestly, I still feel like we're in the
Now I have a
throwing shit at
question.
the wall stage here. What?
Would you date or marry a porn star?
No.
But let's say that they're really awesome and you're like clicking,
Yeah.
you got chemistry.
Are they
it's
actively a porn star?
actively?
No.
I would
They're
consider
passionate
it.
No, I
about it.
can't do it. Can't do it.
I mean, my real qualm rests in the obvious, like STDs, fertility.
No,
that
no.
kind of, you know what I
Mine
mean?
is
Like,
that
Well, in the
a bunch of people are
professional-
watching my girlfriend fuck some guy.
really?
Yeah.
You can't get past that.
No, I can't.
No.
No, I can't get past it.
I'm
Here's
pretty
the
sure.
thing,
Okay,
it's like-
to alleviate that, I want to say I don't know this for sure, but I'm pretty sure that when you get to like the upper echelon or porn,
Yeah, they're good about
where
it.
you're
yeah.
fucking multiple people like on a regular basis, you have to be clean.
Yeah.
There
Oh,
are no
actually,
STDs.
Yeah,
there's
you
a
do.
lot of.
That's
like,
not what I'm worried. I'm not worried about that at all. I'm sure.
I
she
know
would be
Gary
great.
was. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
I
sure
was.
all that shit, the sexual shit, is. I mean, they're paid to do it, so it's like
It's probably about as healthy as it gets.
exactly. It's probably as good as it gets, but like, no, I can't. The psychological. Yeah.
You think it would torment you?
Oh, dude, it torments me to think about even like fucking like if I fucking meet a guy that like, somebody dated or something. I don't really do with them.
Really?
But like with a past girlfriend or whatever, like if they start talking about their ex and like how great he was or whatever. You know, like
Really?
I'm like, stop talking right now.
You
I
can't
don't wanna
handle
hear
that?
No.
What?
No,
You're
can't
such a
handle it.
pussy.
I know, I'm jealous. I guess.
I'm
I
kidding.
don't
I'm kidding.
I don't know what
love
it
you,
is.
Jack.
It's just, I want me to be the person. Nobody else.
Dude,
I think it's valid.
No, bro, that's Andrew Tate's perspective. You have
Oh,
to be
it's
the
what all
man
girls think too. What do you think? Girls are cool at hearing about your sex stories from the past? No, they all hate
to
it.
an extent.
Oh man,
they
that
all
was my
hate it.
ex-girlfriend.
You don't
Fuck,
want to
she
be an
was dirty.
amateur, right? You
They
don't.
hate it.
When girls, when you get with a girl, you don't want to be an amateur, right? At this stage in life, when
Maybe.
you're like 17, yes, it doesn't matter, which is when you got with Belle. So
Yeah,
it
right.
does- but at this point
well,
in
none
life,
of this really applies with Belle because I don't really care about any past boyfriend. You know, it's like I don't like, wait a minute. But like, I don't know, like if we were adults and it was like the guy that she was like messing around with 6 months ago, and like, yeah, that would bother me a lot. That would not be good. I don't know what I'd do.
better start working out then, eh?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
at the
every-
gym,
You gotta be better.
fuming,
You
like,
cannot get left by Belle.
the only picture in your brain is this guy
Yes.
gorilla fucking your girlfriend.
No, that would just make me stop, and I'd just get sad. I'd be like, I was like, I don't want to
Dude.
work out anymore.
I think I
want to
could
go eat
do
a
it.
cake.
Here's the thing. I think I could do it, but I wouldn't do it if she was currently more successful than me. Does that make sense?
Okay, that's even that's fucked
okay,
up, dude.
like-
That's fucked up.
No,
Wait,
no,
if
no.
she-
I think it's normal. Okay, you're that's messed
So if
up.
she's like
dude.
like a really famous porn
No,
star,
okay,
and you're
here's-
like,
if I
And you're
if
just
I
Joe Schmo.
making
if I
podcasts in
date-
your
if I
studio.
date Riley Reid tomorrow,
yeah.
I would really that would probably not work. Is this fucked up? I don't know. I'll
yeah,
change.
that's you're
I'll
fucked
change
up
my
about
perspective.
this.
But here's
yeah.
the thing: is like, it's like yes, if I'm Joe, here's the thing: is like then when you go and walk out, like it's like whenever that first Instagram post dropped or whatever, and you're like with her, and she's like, "That's my boyfriend," haha, and you like can't go out to a bar anymore because dudes are like, "Yo, what's it like fucking Riley Reid?" That sounds like a
No, no, no.
horrible experience.
The whole thing about sex that's fun is that it's like you're discovering things.
I'm not talking about being with the person. I'm talking
okay,
about the
alright.
ramifications of being with, like the ramifications of being with a porn star when you're Joe Schmo sounds horrible.
Yeah, it's horrific.
Like, not being able
it's
to go
like,
anywhere.
It's like dating a fucking celebrity and
Especially
you're just like a
if-
guy.
But if she's
Like-
really famous though, that's the thing. If like
Yeah.
like if we're both coming up at the same time or whatever, or like
Yeah.
or like or if she becomes successful after years of us dating and I don't.
No,
like,
I want
that
my
is
girlfriend
fine, you
to
know
be
what I'm
more
saying? But,
successful
like,
than me. That's fucking.
But to
bullshit.
go
and all the
from-
pressure
dream.
is taken off of me to support.
I know. Then I
you
can
know?
just
But
be a
it's got
musician.
nothing to do with supporting, like
or I
being,
can be
like,
home.
the money
I can be.
thing.
I can be the one that helps them feel better, and like that makes me feel good. You know, it's like, yeah, no,
Does that not make sense? Am I crazy?
it
there?
makes sense. It's just
like
it's,
to rise at the same time makes
bad.
sense. To be together
it's-
for a while
it's part
and
of the
her to
fame.
rise and me not make sense. But for me to just start dating a celebrity that's in porn,
yeah.
just does not sound like a fun
So it's like
time.
the fame thing.
But
kinda.
maybe not. I don't know. But then now I'm sitting here thinking like, who gives a fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
fuck you guys. And
I just don't think that it would be. The whole thing about sex that is fun is that you learn about each other. You know, the whole process of learning about each other and all that stuff.
Yeah, but
the
it's the same
intimacy of
thing
it.
still
But if they've already
applies.
done everything with everyone,
but it's acting. They're acting.
yeah, but they're still doing the shit. I mean, it's
So what?
acting. They're still it's.
Maybe it's fun because she can show you some shit. You know, some upside down leg behind the back thing that you.
It really depends.
Seen.
I mean, obviously, like, I mean, if they're like an astrophysicist and they're like a genius and they like also just do porn. I mean, I
Not
don't-
likely.
No, it's never gonna happen. I'm never gonna do that. That sounds horrible. It sounds horrible. I cannot do that. Sorry, no offense to anyone that's in porn.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's,
I
it's
mean,
possible, but it's
Be a
just
porn
it's
star.
very unlikely.
I don't care. I'll enjoy it, but
It's rough. I mean, it's like dating
Yeah.
a stripper or something. You know,
No
it's
shame,
like
yeah.
it's just
stripper's easier to
I
go for because they don't actually
Yeah.
fuck the clients.
It is easier, yeah.
unless
but
they're good strippers.
still not great though. Still not great.
What do you think, BB? Mister, I asked the question.
I don't think I could do it.
No.
No,
Yeah.
I don't know why exactly. I mean, both of your points made sense to me.
Dude, I also have weird
I just don't think I could
tastes.
do it. Like I don't know. I think I could date a stripper, but the sex thing, I don't know. I don't think I'd like that.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's a strong note to end it on.
Yeah.
You want to end it already?
Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta go eat dinner.
What time is it?
Hungry.
We're on hour 6 right now.
What time? What,
That's good.
Oh, it's like probably 4:30.
Let's do an hour.
4:30. My
Most
contacts
people don't
in
even
there,
watch
can't
by this point. Who cares?
But it's for us.
Hey, everybody who is left watching, go check out our Instagram and our TikTok and our YouTube and listen to our music and come see us play sometime.
You know, the longer we do it, the more we can clip it up, which is where the real magic happens. The real magic happens in the
I'm
the
so
clips.
hungry and tired.
That's fine. We're good.
I'm
We're
at
good.
the end of my rope, baby. All right.
That's all right. Hey, well, actually, real quick before we split, quick little point. I would like to include Jeeves on a podcast once.
Oh,
That would be
yeah,
a lot of
yeah,
fun.
yeah.
Oh, I've been saying that for. We just got to get Jeeves to want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that'd be so much fun.
Yeah.
To
All right, that's the next one,
Yeah.
boys.
Yeah.
Until next time.
We gotta yank him a little bit.
me
Yeah.
or Jeeves? Oh
Jeeves.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we gotta-
He gets real nervous in front of the
push him
mic,
to
but
do it,
he's
yeah.
so funny, dude.
He's hilarious.
Maybe we just need to get drunk. But not like too drunk. We have to be very specific.
Well, when
level
he
of
starts
drunk.
calling his parents on the podcast, he's like, "I don't talk to my parents."
Dude, I don't think there's a world where he gets drunk enough to call his parents.
He did call his parents drunk the other day.
What? No, he
Or
didn't.
not, at
Fabricated reality.
That is such
no
a
way.
lie. No way.
at the show, at the Mockbee. Yeah, he was like, "I'm gonna go call my parents," and I watched him call his
Oh, he
parents.
probably had to
yeah.
for something.
He was like, he
Had
said,
to,
"I'm going
not
to drunk
wanted to.
call my parents." He was like, "I'm gonna drunk call my parents."
No way he sounded like that. He
Yeah.
never sounds
No way.
like that. You're capping right now.
I tried to tell you about this when it happened.
capping.
Nobody
no way.
listened to
This
me.
is a lid
No.
store, sir.
No offense, Jack, but I feel like sometimes you get the streams crossed,
No.
brother.
Nope. No.
Bro, we live with a guy.
No, confirmed. You definitely do sometimes.
Okay, but
Okay.
that is a very specific memory that I
And
have.
I know Jeeves very well.
Yeah.
So does
That's
Gary.
why I was so shocked, and I went to you, and I was like, "He just went to do this," and then Gary heard
Yeah,
me,
I
and
was
he just
probably
went, and you didn't even listen to me. You didn't even hear what I said. So I
very
mean, it's your
accurate.
fault for not
This
knowing.
is really good drunk Gary impression.
Yeah.
Though. Shot?
Yeah.
Why you have
You're
some?
like, where's Jesus at? I'm like, I told you he's going to call his parents. You're like, no way. I was like, it just happened.
Bro, I was not that drunk until
Yes.
we got to your house
well,
that
when
night.
you were acting it that way.
All right, I
Wow.
gotta go too because it's my
Yeah.
dad's. His birthday was yesterday.
Happy belated, Blake.
Yeah.
Anyway,
He's
happy
the
birthday, Blake.
Well, I gotta go soon. We're gonna go
All
have
right.
some cake and shit.
Until next time.
All right, bye, guys. Thank
Love
you.
guys. Love you.
See you.